This class will be concerned with the topic of business research. Now, business research is used to improve the chance of gaining a competitive advantage and greater market share. It may be research into a new product, for example, some sort of innovation that's been proposed. It may be research into the commercialization of some idea. It may be research into the behavior of competitors, or it may be market research aimed at determining what customer needs are and how they are changing over time. In other words, business research has a wide remit. Business research seeks out facts with the help of study, observation, comparison and experiment. So it has a wide range of tools. It uses the search for knowledge through objective and systematic methods of finding solutions to a problem. The best methods to use are objective and ideally quantitative. However, sometimes a business can't resort to these techniques. It doesn't have access to quantitative analysis, or it can't measure the outputs quantitatively. For example, if it's asking customers their opinions about a product, the opinions are subjective and hence very difficult to quantify. But as far as possible, it tries to be as objective as is possible. It tries to answer questions through the application of scientific procedures. That's the best approach. The best approach is to be as objective as possible. Even if the results are hurtful, even if the results are not what were desired, it's best to know the truth. And the scientific approach is to try and find the actual responses, not the wished responses. So try to find the facts that are true rather than the facts that were wanted. It tries to determine the truth which has not been discovered. So it's, generally speaking, research is trying to find something that previously was not known. That's the whole idea of research, is to try and get a new insight into some situation. It attempts to gain familiarity with the phenomenon under study. It tries to understand what has been studied and the importance of what has been studied. And it attempts to report the facts honestly and openly. It does not distort the findings. It does not change the findings because they don't suit what was desired. It tries to report factually what was found. Now let's look at the components of research. First of all, a clear definition of the problem is required. A clear definition of the problem means setting out exactly what is required. What's been sought? What is the problem and how is the answer being sought? Research enables us to understand the new developments in business, in society and in science. Without research we don't get an insight into what is new or what is actually going on. So research tells us what is happening in business. What are the competitors doing? What are the new products? What do customers want? What are the trends in the market? Without research, the business person will not know this. Research is a systematic search for relevant information on a specific topic. It's the careful investigation of a topic through the search for new facts. It's systematic. It works methodically, one step at a time. And it tries to be honest. It doesn't try to insert what it thinks it's happening. It tries to find out what is actually happening. So it's a movement from the known to the unknown. We know certain situations, but we're trying to discover what we don't know. We're trying to discover what is the actual business relationships in the market. What do the customers actually want? What are the competitors actually doing? It's moving from what we think they're doing to what they are actually doing. In an academic sense, research is a contribution to our stock of knowledge. And academic research is different to business research in the sense that it aspires to add to our knowledge, whereas business research, generally speaking, is commercial. It's the participants in the market trying to gain insight into the workings of the market so that they can get a commercial advantage. Now let's look at research problems. First of all, generally speaking, in business, there is a lack of a good methodology. It's very difficult to conduct research in business. The situation is so complicated and it's so fluid. It's changing daily. The competitors are changing strategies. The competitors are changing products. The market is changing. There's the influence of the media, new technology. There are so many variables that it's very difficult to conduct the research. And the respondents, the people who are going to be asked their opinion, they may fear that researchers may misuse the information. So that confidence in the researcher is a real issue for respondents, for research information. The researchers have to overcome the fear that the respondents have. If it's a survey amongst workers, then the workers in a given company may be reluctant to tell the truth because they're afraid of upsetting the management. So they give biased answers. It may be that the respondents have got political ideas or have got particular social ideas, and that colours their response, and perhaps in a wider context they may not give the precise truth. They may not be, as they see it, lying, but they may be giving coloured responses. In other words, let's say it was an investigation into whether a local hospital should expand or contract. Then the question itself is almost loaded. It's a biased question almost, and the respondents may give biased results. Many or long and complicated or duplicated research activities may lead to frustration amongst the respondents. If the respondents get a lot of requests for information, they may get fed up and stop responding altogether. Junk mail is a part of this. People get requests to complete questionnaires through the post. After a while, if you're getting a lot of it, they think, forget it, I haven't got time to respond to all of this. Telephone surveys may be met with the same response. The respondents don't have time, they're not interested, there are too many of them. There's a fatigue about the responses. There is no universal code of conduct for researchers. Researchers may adopt different approaches, and this may cause confusion amongst the respondents and also in the data. Researchers have different ways of trying to get information. They should be trying to get objective information. They should be trying to find the truth. But many researchers might be looking for cheap or quick ways of finding quick answers. And that leads to a bias, and it leads to frustration amongst the respondents. Some respondents might think that their opinions are no longer valued because it's been done quick and cheaply. Support services such as libraries may be slow and may cause delays in overall research effort. Well, that's a problem. Sometimes researchers need secondary information, published information, and it may be slow or it may be costly to get that information, which may hold up the research effort. Now, the objective of business research, well, to determine the relationship between events, to determine what is happening in the marketplace, determine what's happening with the new product, to determine how the customers see the product, to determine whether the price is right or what the competitors are doing or whatever it is. So it's trying to determine the relationship between events. It's trying to test a hypothesis of some sort of connection, causal connection between variables. Now, a hypothesis is just a testable statement. It's trying to test some statement of a relationship between variables. For example, let's say the company increases its price and demand for its product falls off as a consequence. Now, there's a causal relationship. It's more expensive in the market, so customers are not buying as much. Now, test the hypothesis. Is that true? Is it true that the increase in price has led to a fall in demand, or is something else causing it? Perhaps the product's no longer seen as desirable, it's no longer fashionable, or perhaps incomes in the area has fallen. There can be many explanations as to why demand falls. Price is one of them. So it's testing the hypothesis, it's testing the statement. The statement is, the price has gone up, demand has gone down. Is that true? And how are these two variables linked? How is price and how is the quantity demanded, two variables, how are they linked? So trying to determine and understand the market trends. That's an objective of research. Try to work out what are the market trends and to determine optimal conditions in some aspect of the business. Say, try to determine what's the best way of delivering the product. So that concludes this session on business research. Let's leave it at that and say thank you for watching.